I don't even understand.
So,
Say it's going on next week, but don't disturb my company.
so Ryan is an awesome poet.
That's good.
This first one's called A Light More Volatile. It came from Walt Whitman. Finally found a place where I can lay my head, and everything now sounds like a rhapsody. And instead of waiting for someday, I realized or remembered that it's not real. It never was, and it never will be rendered solid, never touchable. But this is, I am, you are. So please let us be here now. And forget the fake. Let the delusions fall by the wayside, seen for what they are, and with vigor we'll cry out, past, beyond the previously impedimentary, with nothing but what is and will be, never wary, because nothing true is worthy of being feared, not even the darkness. For it only exists because its opposite cleared the way, establishing a light more volatile. It is the intensity and depth of both sides that make this whole deal worthwhile. Thank you. And this one I just wrote earlier today. A couple weeks ago, a few people did stuff that they did like on the way here, and it inspired me. So it's called I Do Dig Your Many Names Hard. As she was quoting me to me, her light, to be sure, increased in intensity, as displayed through the glint in her eyes. We sank into the back seats, get lost in the western skies. The hues, the pinks, the blues, the shifting colors in the clouds, in between the clouds, transfixed and transported, here and there, here. Then we went for a backwards walk to get in on some higher and deeper level vibrations. Radioactive magnetism, the proper numeric incantations. We found ourselves in an incense-filled room with mirrors painted hieroglyphically, with Vincent's altered eyes gazing upon us approvingly. We commenced with the synchronized triangularity. Once three-sided, we were ready for the moon and Venus's duet, a revelation. We counted to three and commenced to be swallowed into a world of pure imagination. Quickly slipping down the halls of our minds, slower than a crystal ball, no such thing as mine. Thanks. And so one more. It's called Sledgehammer. And 6:32, the sun making its first appearance, not a moment too soon. She told me I was screaming in my sleep again, and for a second the fear began to consume. But instead of engulfing and transforming all of me, it fizzled promptly, and the new pulsing thick neon jet fuel ignited, evicted, and got me back onto the rails, or more accurately hovering above them. The screaming aspect of my most recent dream is something that happens when I'm exploring clouds with a snorkel mask on, counting sky octopi and one inks me. Just another mundane REM state. So I changed the subject and I asked her, how about we get the creative clementines, the water balloon slingshot, and head up to the roof? She seemed to immediately forget my nocturnally emitted howling and gave a smile showing every single tooth, and a dimple on one side, giving a beautiful, slightly crooked but perfect impression, glowing with a radiance, true with a greenish hue, orange swirls, plenty of glitterishness, an aggressively tangible magnificence whose nature erases any existence of hideousness. And you can tell she wasn't even trying. And that's the third most beautiful thing about her. So she gracefully grabbed the box of fruit and launcher, and together we were opening and then climbing out the window. Then we chased each other up the side of the building. Neither of us were in the mood for straight lines, so we ascended the 51 stories orbitally, absolutely willing to adjust course, but why attempt to modify perfection? And we were on a track like the spirals up a barber pole, reveling in the journey, but giddily anticipating the impending view and all of what we intuitively sensed we were a part of, and the mutually swelling sense of riding and being. a gloriously propulsive momentum that both moved and was us, and how we were seeing, with more than our eyes, more than our hearts even. It was something beyond them, or maybe all the senses at once. We peaked simultaneously at that perfect moment and found ourselves on the edge of where he without hope jumps. The two of us, though, were either on the opposite end of that spectrum or maybe a different scale altogether, feeling like we had just been born. A tandem breech birth. Everything was new, even the weather. The atmosphere, instead of thinning with altitude, had a definite increased thickness to it, but in an anti-cumbersome fashion. There we were, breathless, taking in true nourishing oxygen for the first time without question. The willing readiness was there in solid form, and without words we synchronously prepared the launching of said small species of nectarine. Our eyes locked, and I had never before or since seen a more gloriously vibrant mantis-like green than what was emanating from her. She was holding one of the two straps, and the other was tied to the lightning rod at the loop's pinnacle that's there to attract the bolts that otherwise would scramble the makeup of the hard-working residents. So I dipped the fruit in the napalm jelly that I had in a jar I strapped to my chest for all such ascents, then placed it gently in the pulled-back pocket, struck a match, gave a wink, and got a nod, and touched the small flame to the gel-covered orange orb that instantly incandesced. I let go, and my God, the angle and the trail. But there was no apex because there was no descent, and there never will be. It was exactly then and there that the bang of her dropping one of the sledgehammers that she had been juggling through the night jolted me out of sleep, and I found myself in mid-howl. But it was not a wail induced by terror, but a subconscious expression of frenzied ecstasy, an absence of all that is foul. Thank you for listening.
Wow.